So let's get on with it. I'll put my cup down. We'll get straight into the intro and we'll get this show on the road. Hello, welcome back. Yes, we're just refreshing the chat here, getting it going. Rocky's in the house. I talked to Richard today. G'day Vernon. We got some cool prizes. Daryl's on the YouTube. We're also live streaming on Palmerville Gold, so if you're catching this, Palmerville Gold as well. Gary Lord, Andrew Mason. Maso, how are you? Thank you for those pointers. I got them today. So what are we doing tonight? We're looking at rocks. We're having a good look at rocks. I've got some cool specimens here that Peter dropped off to me. Lots of from the different mines that he's worked at. Pete was a powder monkey. I don't know whether he likes being called that, but a powder monkey, an explosive expert on these international mines. So we're going to have a look. He's brought me a few little samples in to have a look at today. And we got talking about it because I had a sample sitting on my desk of this stuff. And people may have seen this sitting on my desk. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit this on the head tonight. And over here, I have my rock crusher. And I have a pan. We're going to smash it up small. And we're going to have a crack at it. But let me show you something interesting. I don't think many people may not have seen this. For those that don't know, I used to have Upton's Camping and Disposals, an army disposal shop. And I acquired this. I only spotted it the other day. I need to put some leather conditioner on or something other. So, this is a World War One. I've been reliably told by a historian, this is a World War One light horse flag socket. Right, so it's you put it on the boot as you're riding along, riding into battle, right? And the flag sits in here, and you ride in with the flag, right? So, that's interesting in itself, right? But inside it is a little bit of tissue paper. Well, actually, I don't think it's tissue paper. I think it's actually toilet paper. Let's be honest here. It's toilet paper, right? But in there are 3 bone dice, right? Bone dice, okay? So I know what sort of bone that's made out of, but I'm not sharing it here. But they are hand-carved bone dice from World War One. We believe it's World War One. Could have been just after World War One, but I believe that's some very, very cool trench art. So, and that was their little shaker for their games, but and they hand carve these bone dice. Let me see if I can get one up here to focus. Hand carved bone dice. So yes, very, very cool. It's one of my little treasured little possessions that I always keep around the place. I hadn't looked at it for 2 or 3 years, and then yes, I spotted it the other day, and that's something pretty cool. So all you detectorists that go chasing war relics, that's a cool and creepy, as Dusty says, little thing. I can guarantee whoever said that, Ben, they are not horse bones, mate. They are not horse bones. Right, so tonight we've got these to give away. This is a brand new product, right? I'm going to give one of these away. These are like $89 each, right? Magna traps, right? I'm going to give one away to YouTube, one away to Facebook. Okay. Now, unprepared as always, I am going to play you a YouTube video later on to show you how these things work. But basically, you put them at the end of your sluice, and they've got magnets in them, and it takes out a lot of the black sand, right? So these are wicked, okay? Very, very cool. And what it basically does is here, right? If all that black sand was going in your sluice, right, that's what will be on the trap. That's what will be on your sluice. Okay, so we're giving them away tonight. There's 2 of those. They will be available from tomorrow on our website. They're not cheap, but they're very, very good. A couple of different sizes at the moment. We're looking at bringing the other sizes in. So they are wicked. So we'll have a look at those. So, yes. So there are prizes for tonight. But let's get back to rocks. Okay. So this is... So what we're going to do, right? I've got a hammer here somewhere. I thought I had a hammer here somewhere. So these rock specimens I've got that Peter bought in the other day, right, came from the same area, right, as this rock, we believe, right? So what we're going to do, just hang on. Is we're going to get the see-through rock crusher, right? We're going to smash these up. We're going to crush them up. We're going to get them super fine, like talcum powder fine. I've got to get a little sieve. I forgot a sieve. And then we're going to just pan them off and see what's in there, sort of thing. So, but yes. So this is the little rock crusher we're going to use. I've got all the safety gear, of course. I've got my mask over there and all that sort of thing. But we'll do that in a minute. So, tonight we've got a bit to do. Okay, but let's go first off to, let's have a look. We've been under a lot of discussions this week about Palmerville and what we can do for the season pass guys, right? So, yeah, I won't give you the exact location. People that know the place will know this area sort of thing. But we've just been looking at where we put our southern camp, our Groganville camp. Well, this is what we're going to do. The yellow areas is what we're going to do as our Groganville camp. Well, at this stage, it's still under discussion, so that's why I haven't released the details yet. I've got too many waypoints in there again, right? But yeah, that's about 6 square kilometres there. So in that yellow area, you'll see there's an airstrip just here. There'll be a ranger base down there. There'll be Wi-Fi. There'll be all sorts of stuff down there. So that'll be for season pass holders. I do have to push a track from that corner. Well, put an old track in. I need to join up that track, that red track that's going up there, to the current track, and then we'll be going. So that will be very, very cool. So that's coming up next year for Palmerville. So if you haven't got your season passes will go into there. They can camp down there. We're going to put a campground in there. And Groganville, the thriving metropolis of Groganville. So, yes. Palmerville opens up on the 1st of April, right? Bookings are flying in. Okay, so particularly if you're looking at coming up for those peak months, like, say, Easter, June, July, September, those peak months. Yeah. So, yes. The nugget I found in my ute was a 0.4. I weighed that after the show. I found my scales, went 0.4. So, yes, went 0.4. So, yeah. So, the picture behind me was actually, this picture behind me is actually the Palmer River. It was taken 2 years ago. It was one of my photos from 2 years ago. One of the lagoons on the Palmer River. So, yeah. Right, so let's get on to, now I've got a cheat here because I didn't do this properly. So, I never do this properly. Now, Peter, let me show you what Peter does for a living, right? I'll put this video on here and then I'll be back to you. It's only a little short video.
Yeah, here it goes.
There you go. That's what Peter does. He blows things up. So I believe that was, I'm guessing here, but I'm guessing pretty well, to be honest with you. I believe that was the OK Teddy mine in Indonesia. A lot of the stuff I've got here is the Teddy Mine in Indonesia. Right, now let's have a look at some stuff here from Teddy Mine. Grasberg. Now, I believe this rock is in this vicinity, right? Simply because it's got a very, very similar bluey sheen, coppery, platinumy sheen, with loads of pyrite in it, right? So we'll get this under the microscope. Let me flick the microscope on there now. So here we go. I just have to refocus it. I need to refocus it. What an amazing piece of rock. Let me just refocus. See if I can get that focus a bit better there. What an amazing piece of rock, right? And that is a piece of this stuff, right? So that is what we're going to stick in the rock crusher tonight. And we're going to see if somewhere in there is any gold. So this is the OK Teddy Mine, right? Lots of pyrite, lots of that bluey sheen that you see there. Yes, so very, very, very cool sort of thing. So I love these rocks, right? And we're going to smash that up. No doubt about that. So let me get the pictures here. Let me find some pictures of the OK Teddy Mine, just to give you an idea. So I know this one's OK Teddy, right? I'm almost sure that's OK Teddy. So it's right up in the top of the mountains. That is, I believe that's OK Teddy. Yes, I believe that is. Right, so, sorry, I should have written all these down, but yes, I didn't. So, nothing new there. So, right up in the top of the mountains, let me see if I can find another mountain photo here for you, just to give you an idea. There's a photo here with some clouds here. Right in the highlands of PNG, right? So that's where we're talking. Okay, so then this is also, just to give you an idea of what they're doing up there, that's the sort of stuff they're doing. Fairly rich up there, I would, by the look of that. And this is the locals scratching up a bit for themselves. Now, OK Teddy Mine. It is very, very similar material. I'll put this under the microscope here. We'll see if we can get this microscope going. Highly mineralised, lots of platinum, lots of pyrite in it. Very, very mineralised. It's amazing how mineralised a rock can get. Righto, let me just transition across. You'll see, when I focus this, you'll see how very, very similar that rock there is to that rock when we had that bit underneath it, right? That's why I think it's from the same area. Okay. So we're gonna smash this up and have a look at it. We're not gonna smash these samples up that Peter sent me, but we are gonna smash my bit up. So here's another bit from the same mine. I have to lift my microscope up here, and it is obviously from a different part of the mine, right? Lots and lots of pyrite in that fella. You see there's quartz in there as well. I don't know what's lurking in the bottom of that crack, but it looks like it, yeah, looks like it is. So they call that, normally they call that a peacock ore, but lots of copper, lots of all sorts of stuff in that. So that's the Teddy Mine. Let me just get rid of that picture there, right? So just to give you an idea, right, we were looking at that first one. Let me just see if I can focus. Sorry, I'll bring you along with me. Let me just see if I can focus on that. See how similar those two rocks are, even though Peter brought me that one in and Travis brought me this one in. Two different sources. I believe they come from the same area. So, yeah, it's beautiful. So, right, so that's the OK Teddy Mine. Okay, so what we'll do now, right, is we will go across to this. I believe is the, yes, this is the, I've got to just make sure this right because the pronunciations will kill me on this. This is the Grasberg mine in Indonesia, right? Now, I have mixed up those photos. I can see that. So the Grasberg mine in Indonesia. No, that's the Congo. Here we go. Grasberg mine in Indonesia. This is what they get a lot of here. Pete's brought me a little sample in. I may have mucked all these up because that there. Yes, so this is the one we're looking at here is actually the Tenke mine, Tenke Fungaroom mine in the Congo. Lots of copper, right? Lots of the green copper, okay? So that's a little sample of this stuff, okay? So very, very cool. So I have mixed up a lot of these thingos here. The Grasberg mine up in Indonesia, very, very heavy and a yellowy pyrite. So we'll just flick through these photos because I'm sure I've mucked these up as per normal. So that's that one. So then this one, I think that's OK Teddy as well. Let me just... Oh, so this one here, I need to know where this one is. Look at the mineralisation in this. Look at that. I should have had Peter on the show. That, I believe, is OK Teddy. Yes, OK Teddy, I believe, in Indonesia. But just look at the mineralisation there. So, incredible. Incredible there. So, I love that photo. Yes. Right, so, right, so let me answer some question there. Yes, PNG, one mentions there that PNG is a dangerous place. It can be a dangerous place. I know a coal geo mate of mine that, yeah, he's been into a lot of these sort of places, and you go armed with ideally Australian military backup. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, so righto. So we got some cool rocks we're playing with tonight. Tonight. So. Yeah. Right, shot blasting. Love the way they do shot blaster. That's probably a better term. So, yeah. Righto. Okay, so I've caught up on some of these messages on chat here. So, yes. So if you got questions, guys, let me know. Just sing out in the chat box. Since I've mucked up all those photos, don't be shy, because I muck stuff up too. So, yes. Right. Yes. So, yeah, Mark McIntosh talks about us if the, where's Mark's question? Is there gold normally found in Peacock or, well, not normally. I do have another piece of this out the front there that does look like it's got a top. The top section of it has gold in it. It's not that shiny colour, so that's why I'm fairly interested in it. But we're going to smash this up. We've got a fair bit here in the pan. I've already banged some of it on the head. So we're going to smash this up. We're going to put it through the rock crusher, and we're going to go from there, sort of thing. So, but we'll see. We'll know in no time. So. John Wright, do I sell rock polishing machines? No, I do not. So, yeah. So, yes. Oh, Trevor. Now, there's a dad joke if I've ever heard one. You have to be patient with geologists. They all have faults. Well done, Trevor. That's a good geologist joke, that one. So, righto. Here we go. So, before we do that, what we're going to do is I'm just going to share my screen here with you. I didn't really set this up, but... So what have we got here? This is a Facebook page that... a Facebook page I've been following for a little while. This is Back to Maytown reunions. So Palmerville Gold, the Palmerville Gold Rush, Palmerville Station, really all of that began in 1873. So next year it'll be 150 years since the gold rush began. So it's 150 years. So this is a great, if you're into history, right, this is a great page to just go and have a look at some of the old stuff up in the Palmer. There are some very, very cool photos kicking around. There is a lot of gear left at the Palmer. Yeah, so old photos from people that lived up there and what have you. Yeah. So if you get a chance, go over and like this page. So it's back to Maytown reunions. It looks like that there. So get on there and have a look at that. Join that group sort of thing. So there's only 76 people like that page. So let's go and get that blowing up, because that's a very, very cool page of some history stuff that people are concentrating on. So I spoke to the guy who runs the page tonight. He's a lovely bloke, loves the history. So yeah, got a lot of time for him. So back to Maytown reunions. Yep, and I think they're going to have a big event next year. So we're going to be all over that. Speaking of big events, I'm pretty excited about these. So these Magna traps, one for each winner tonight. Basically, all you do is slide it over the top of your sluice, right? Feed your material onto the red mat. In this case, it's a black mat, right? You pull your black sand off. There's a wedge in here that when you're finished, right, slide the wedge in between all the black sand, slides off into your pan, so you can pan that off separately if you wish to. Then you slide it back on and repeat. So very, very cool. They're going to be around that $100 mark there, but they are wicked cool. Let me get the comments up here because I have forgotten. Yes. On the subject, this is Richard, on the subject of Glendon Camping Grounds has a gem fossicking area for kids and adults. Yes, we helped out a bit there with some gemstones. Richard, I might bring some more gemstones out when I see you this weekend. You must be getting low upcoming to Easter. So I'll bring you another bucket of gemstones out there. So it's really, really quite cool what Richard's done out there. So yeah, it's good. So Smarty Smart, where can I get one of these rock crushers? Now, really, it's probably not worth this. This hasn't seen a lot of use, but it's seen a bit of use. This is a Cobbers crusher, right? Good Australian-made company, right? Not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. We don't sell them. Go straight to Cobbers crushers, right? There's no money in them for us to sell them, sort of thing. I think they're the best small rock crusher going around. Basically, what you do is you basically just put an angle grinder on it. Of course, everything I own's green. It disappears into the green screen, but we'll suck it up, right? So you just put 5-inch grinder on it. It actually just bolts on to the handle there. Really, really solid sort of thing. Inside there, let me just pull it apart. I really should take the battery out so I don't get my fingers. Then it'll be a show to watch. So inside here, basically, is just wing nuts to take the cover off. Right, handheld. I've got a Ryobi thing grinder on it, because in the back of my ute I've got two 12-volt chargers, Ryobi chargers that run off my solar. So I've got a grinder in there. I've got my rock crusher in there. I've got a that just comes off very easily. It's got a little O-ring here. You got to watch you don't lose. And then in here is two shackles. I'll hold them up. You can probably see them there, but two shackles that spin around and smash the rock. Right now, word of warning. Right, This stuff, you do not want to get this stuff in your lungs, right? This is a disaster if you get this stuff in your lungs. I feel a bit uncomfortable now with the amount of dust that's coming up off it now. But guys, if you're crushing any sort of rock, seriously, you've got to wear a face mask. Like, I'm only crushing that little bit of rock. I'm not spending hours doing it, but you can be guaranteed I'll be wearing a proper face mask. Not one of these paper jobbies. Yep, not a paper jobby. I'll be wearing a proper mask when we do this. So, let me just get that on. So the O-ring just stops dust going everywhere. Those O-rings, if you do lose them, they're easy to get. Wing nuts go on. It's really, really simple to put it together. Easy to put together. That's not down. It's down now. Nothing a little bit of force won't fix. So I've got a grinder. I've got a little handheld jackhammer in my car, like the little rotary drill that you can stop it spinning and make it into a grinder, into a little jackhammer thing. Don't think I've used it. I've used it as a drill tons of times, but I haven't used it as a jackhammer really. It's all dirt. Oh, there's all super fine dust all over my computer screen. So basically, you put it on there, right? You pull the little trigger. Right, it goes. Now we got a dust issue there. We need to tighten that back down because that's not snugged up against the O-ring. So, yep. So, right, there we go. So we'll get that going in a minute. Actually, we'll get it going fairly shortly. I'll go and get my face mask and a little sieve. So I'll be back in a minute. Righto, fairly disorganised here. Didn't have a sieve with me, but here we go. So what I am going to do is I'm going to pull that. I shouldn't have pulled it apart to show you. I had it all set up properly, but I'm going to pull this apart again because it's blowing too much dust for my liking. So obviously the O-ring didn't seat properly. I was trying to hold it up and show you how it went. So gold out of the snuffer bottle without it going everywhere. I will show you that. I haven't got a snuffer bottle. I have to race out the front, grab a snuffer bottle, but I can show you that on this show because we're going to do a little panning. I've got the panning tub set up just there. I've got to fix the camera on that's obviously been bumped. So let me just grab a screwdriver to fix the rock crusher. Won't be a tick. Shouldn't have pulled it apart. There we go. We'll fix this rock crusher up here. I definitely don't want dust going everywhere, particularly inside me, because this stuff's nasty stuff. So if you're doing any crushing, even with a handheld crusher, right? Well, that's going to be a fairly large issue. It obviously didn't stay in there that well, and it went through the crusher. But look at that. Bet you that's not Australian made, but no wonder she was leaking a bit of air, leaking a bit of dust. So we'll get that sitting here straight. We'll put the O-ring in. Oh, I forgot to mention it's Valentine's Day. So I'm surprised there's 150 odd people, 160 odd people here tonight. Thought everyone would be out on romantic dates. So but yes, so They're a bit hard to put together because I haven't got it lined up right. There's a little line up thing here. Let me just try it that way. Right, we got it. I think we got it. We'll know when we put the battery in. Seriously, guys, do not mess with this when you got a battery in it. When it don't take the cover off these things if you haven't got a if you've got a battery in it, because that is where you do fingers in and stuff. So you know, so you come on Valentine's Day and watch me try and put an O-ring in 15 times. So yes, I really appreciate everyone's support. Right, we'll snug that down. We'll see where we're at. Put the battery back in her and see where we're at. So there we go. Relatively dust free. Righto, let's rock and roll here. So I'll move this out of the road. We're going to do it right here. I'm going to put my dust mask on. I'll get at my hammer. I've lost my dust mask now. Right, so we're just going to smash this up here in the pan. So this stuff smashes really easy. It's all that pyrite in it. So we'll just give that a couple of taps so it fits in the thing. Right. We're going to smash this up so it all fits through that'll all fit through. Maybe that one won't, so we'll just give that one another tap. There we go, that one's a bit big too. But look at the colours when it comes out, like it is just spectacular. Anyway, right, here we go. Face mask. So I won't be speaking for a minute because it's probably too loud with the grinder on. And I sound like Darth Vader. Yeah. So, righto, here we go. So we'll open the top here. That one doesn't fit in. That one fits in. That one fits in. These fit in. Sometimes you got to give them a little shake to get them through. Right, that one goes in. That one goes in. I suppose I could have loaded it without the face mask. Righto. So we'll cover that up. So we'll give that a good shake around. Right, I think we got that pretty fine. Let me just take this off here for a minute. Righto, so I think we got that pretty fine in there. There's not too much rattling around in there. Okay, so what we'll do, I've just got a very, very fine sieve here and a pan. I won't do this up on the desk because it's because this thing's quite heavy. So the thing, normally I do this in the shed and the workbench, but the workbench isn't quite big enough. Again, it's not just when you're grinding, it's when you're tipping this stuff out too. You got to be careful with it. So I've tangled up my thing. Righto, here we go. We'll tip this out here. Well, hasn't that made a dusty mess? So here we go again. Righto, let's go. We get a heap more in here. Righto, here we go. We'll get this smashed up here. Right, that might be a bit big, that might be a bit big. We'll get all these fine bits in here. Right.
And we'll just give this another flick. Righto, here we go. Righto, we'll just tip this out. I'll just tip this out, then I'll take my mask off. Right, we'll get rid of the dust maker. So what we've got is basically just talcum powder. Right, I'll just give this a shake and I'll take my mask off. Just talcum powder. Right, very, very fine. Right.
Righto, that should be enough of that now. We can dunk that in water now. So let me get back to these questions. I'm a stack of questions behind. Okay. She's gonna blow. So, yes. Any gold in the O-ring? Yeah, so you could just see when I was using that rock crusher how much dust was coming out of it. Okay, so that's the danger of it. Okay, so don't ever breathe that stuff in, sort of thing. So, right. Let me just see if we've got any questions here. So, Andrew Mason, a new romantic comedy. Ben trying to fix an O-ring on Valentine's Day. Yep. Here comes Darth Vader. Trevor Pye with the dad jokes again. So, yes, dust all over the desk. There is a little bit of dust. You'd be surprised how little dust actually came out of it. Yeah. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to the panning tub. Okay? And I hope you can still hear me. Right, it looks like the sound's still going through. We'll come over to the panning tub here now. Right, here I am. We'll see if that works. I'll have a look at that actually before we get too far along. So, let me just see if that's a good shot. Yeah, that's a reasonable shot there. So, you can look at how fine that is, right? It's properly knocked up fine. There's a couple of big pieces there, but we won't worry about that. What we're going to do now, this here, right? This tub has got a lot of dishwater soap in it, right? Because this pyrite wants to float all the time, right? When we talk about gold floating, it's exactly the same as this, except the pyrite's much lighter. Okay, so you get the dish soap in there to break the surface tension, right? Obviously, it needs a bit of agitation as well. But we'll just put another little thing of water in there, and then I'll give it a little mix, okay? We'll get rid of that fella. There, we'll just sit it in there. Now this will be very heavy material. So I'm going to have to go pretty slow with it, okay? Because it's just like a thick mud in the bottom of it, right? You see all that pyrite floating on the surface, right? It's a bit like that's a sexy little pile of dirt there, right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to capture this, and I'll probably pan it a number of times, this dirt. We're not just going to throw this dirt out. We're going to have a bit of a play with it. So what we'll do is we'll just tip that light material off, and then we can get into stratifying it. Have you ever seen anything so silver in a pan? Just incredible, right? I don't care that pyrite's floating. I know there's enough dish soap in here that the gold won't be, okay? It's a mess, right? A silvery, mineralized, heavy mess. You can feel it in the pan. So, very, very cool. Look at how mineralized that material is. Now, I'm seeing balls, right? I'm seeing balls.
Let me just see if I can find one here. Now, no, I can't find any at the moment. But anyway, I was seeing balls, but I give it a good agitation. Now, I'm hoping that those balls might be gold that's been rolled in the machine. I've got the microscope on so we can really have a look at it. Now, I'm smashing through this, right? I would go much slower than this, normally, with this sort of material. But for the purpose of this exercise, we want to get down pretty low. We can't spend an hour panning this off. So, but I will capture all this material and go through it and probably cook it down or something or other. See if I can burn the pyrite off it. That might be another show. I don't know how to do that, but yeah. So, right, let's have a look here. It is so heavy. It's just sticking, like it's just pyrite. It feels like it feels like a pan full of gold. That's how heavy it is. Not that I've ever had a pan with this much gold in it, but it just weighs a ton. Right, we're getting down here now. My God. Let's give me a workout, this is. Righto. Who knows? I've still got pyrite floating on the surface. You can see the pyrite just on the surface here. I hope you can anyway. I'm going to need a spell here. Here we go. See, what's happening here is the specific gravity is very, very similar across this whole pan, right? So it's hard work, right, to keep things moving. Right, we're getting there, slowly but surely, just heavy. I've got this pan virtually standing straight up and down. Let's try a different technique. Let's go over this long side here and see if we can get away from those riffles. Right, we'll just see if we can get away from the riffles a bit. We'll get that stratified down. Right, we'll just see if we can run a bit of this off a bit quicker. So we'll just bring it back. It's a pretty cool pan full. If only that was all gold. Let's have a look here. Well, that certainly got it down quicker. All right. So let's have a look here. Let's just get to this stage here now where we're having a squiz. Well, right at this point in time, we'll tap that up a bit. See if we can tap it up. See what rises. Right, so I'm seeing micro spots of gold in the top here, right? Probably very hard to see on the camera, right? There's a chunk in here that we're going to put under the microscope. This chunk here, right? It looks a bit goldy, and then we'll get these couple of chunks, and we'll stick it under the microscope. Right.
Okay, I'm back. That was one of the hardest pans I've ever done. Right? Wow. That was seriously heavy. So let me get over to the microscope here. We'll bring you along. So that's what we started with. Now, there is a particular yellow bit. Oh, God. I'm dropping things everywhere here. There's a particular yellow bit here. If it'll get off my finger. Now, that there. I've broken the thing. Let me just get that down a little bit on it. Right, and we'll see if we can focus in on that there. No, not that way. There we go. Now that, my friend, that gold there, that is pyrite. Right, see how it's too sharp and angled? Oh yeah, can anyone... Thanks, Todd. Asthma puffer. I need an asthma puffer after that job. Holy hell. Yes, so that's pyrite, okay? So it turns out there's probably no gold in it, or very little gold in it, just a normal sort of pyrite-y. But there is definitely gold in it, it's just not that much. So, yeah, not that much at all. So, yeah. I got a bit of a sore arm at the moment too, so I was struggling there. So, yeah. Hard day at the office when I have to do a pan, yeah. Boot camp at Ben's lease to get him fit. That was a heavy pan, that was. So I don't know what's in the rest of that material, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it tested. So, yeah. Yeah. Right, so. Doing the dishes. Wasn't that a cool pan full of stuff though? That was awesome, that was. I really liked that. Greg Miller's in the house from the Pirates crew. One of the best places to go in WA. So, fantastic place, Greg. Need some headphones, Greg. Yeah, those rock crushers are wicked. They are really good. So, yeah. Yeah. So, spin and win. Yes, so leave the paperweight where it is. Yes, it doesn't look like there's much gold because I have got a bigger piece of that, a much bigger piece. So now I've got a few other little bits as well, sort of thing. So yeah, so yes, right. So we're getting towards the end of the show. Don't forget our prizes. These are going to go off in 5 minutes or so. This is a really cool, not a new product, but a new product to Australia, the Magni Trap, right? Clips on the end of your sluice right there, collects the black sands. It actually acts as a bit of a riffle as well because the black sands will hold a little bit of gold as well, so you can pan that off if you want. But it really stops the black sand from getting in your mat, sort of thing. So that there is a cracking little thing. We give them two of them away. Happy days. Let's go back here. What have I missed? What have I missed? Let me just go through here because there's all sorts of stuff that I missed. No, that's just the whatchamacallit, the Groganville campsite we're opening up there. We'll get rid of that. We'll just go through here. We've done the Facebook page. We've done everything else. It looks like I've cleaned up. Yeah. Please send me that piece of rock. I'll buy a piece. Whitney, if you want one of these little bits, you can have a bit of this. So, yeah, it is cool rock. So, Wade, we do sell the covers for the 6 and the 7. There's a supply issue on them at the moment. That's why the shop is completely out of them at the moment. So, yes, we're waiting on that, and we're waiting on Buddy Gators for Todd. So, yeah. So, yes. Yeah, we had I am a bit burnt. I did get a bit of colour on the weekend. We had a beach training day on Sunday. Absolutely fantastic. I take people to an area of the beach that's very quiet. No one swims there. It's really quiet, so we can just concentrate and do a bit of detecting, right? And what I normally do, and I tell people this, I throw a few pennies around, okay? So that people have, because there's hardly any targets there, it's more about getting to know your machine. Well, lo and behold, Gemma, the star, and David, I think it was, both found a ring on this clapped out bit of beach that, yeah, I couldn't believe it. So, yeah. So, yeah, I couldn't believe it. But I did forget the sunscreen, and I got a bit of colour. I had the hat on, but a bit of colour. But I'll be cool. So, yes. Craig, I'm getting back to the Palmer in the next month or so, I believe. So, yes. So, yeah, I'm heading up that way soon, and we'll be doing lives up there. They'll just be from the phone because the satellite can't cope with this. But yes, yeah. So yes. Oh no, I haven't finished. I'm going to tell you something. That Deus 2, right, is it is just, yeah, it's good. It's very, very, very good. Like, very, very, very good. Like, so, the leading beach machine, right? I won't say the name of it. The leading beach machine, right? On a walkway down to the beach, right? There's $1 coin because I dug it up later, right? But what I did, with another machine, I went over it. You know how you get this occasionally get a signal, those relic hunters know it, that you'll get it every third or fourth swing over it. It's like a sketchy, almost there. It's almost finding out. It's almost finding that hitting the target, but it's not hitting the target. It's one of those scratchy sounds that I normally go, it's a bit deep. Not doing, right? So, went and put said detector back in the car, pulled the Deus 2 out, right? Went to the same location, right? And just thump, 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 screaming out, here I am, here I am. Very, very consistent target ID. I knew exactly what the target ID is. I didn't know at that point in time what the target was, but just a consistent number. Bang, bang, bang. The $1 coin at like 15 inches. It was like, oh my God, right? It was like phenomenal. Like, I was just like, holy, yeah. So it is a absolute weapon, right? So, yeah, it is an absolute weapon. It just, oh, it's a freaking good machine. One thing, right, is, one thing I don't like about it, was two things I don't like about it. So on the beach in the weekend, I was down there under about that much water. The coil loses the coil, because it's wireless, loses the connection, right? So, and I didn't bring the aerial with me to connect them, but that's all well and good, right? The other thing that annoyed me a bit, and it was only after I used it a bit, I haven't forgotten about giving these away, someone's distracted me with Deus 2, is the head. So I'm wearing the bone conductive headphones, which is an experience, right? I'll tell you about that in a minute. But you plug them in, and where your hand holds the stem, right, the cable for the bone conductive headphones where you plug it in is right there next to your finger. So I didn't really like that, but I suppose for most of the hunting you wouldn't be wearing the bone conductive headphones. Now, the bone conductive headphones, right, it's got an iron audio in it, right? And this is the coolest thing, right? What it does is that low bass. It's this low bass that comes in, right? So, just for giggles, I wound the iron audio right up as high as it could go, right? And it rattled my brain. Like, there was that much bass in there, you couldn't use it. It was like your whole head was vibrating. It was like, it's cool. It's cool, yeah. So, yeah, Deus 2 retails for $24.99. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, it is pretty cool. But there's a couple of things with it. But it's got the doof going. That's exactly right, Trina. So yeah, it was proper. Don't ever do it for giggles, right? But don't ever try and detect with that iron audio right up high. It'll hurt you. It'll hurt you long term. It'll because I think the bone conductors ring your little hammer and sickle or whatever it is in your ear, and yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So yeah. So yeah, it's cool. So, but it is. Well, from what I saw on the weekend, it's the number one beach and relic detector out there, bar none. So yeah. So yeah, I do need to do a live on the Dash 2, on the 2. Maybe we should just start calling it the 2. So yes, righto. Let's get this set up. Sorry, I've been talking to. I do love. It's a machine that it's got an equalizer in it. Like you can play with it's got a equalizer in it, right? So you can change it. It's wicked, right? I think I've had a smile on my face. In the last few years about 2 things when it comes to detecting, right? 2 new things, right? One is the 12-inch nugget finder coil on the 7. If you haven't had a crack at one of them and you got a 7, give me a ring. Let me tell you a story about that. It just makes that machine an absolute pleasure, right? It is quality, right? And the Deus 2, it is wicked, you know. So ring me. I will rant on about the Deus 2. And I don't know how to use it, right? All I did was bang it on beach and went for it. So, yeah. So, Anyway, I'll need to shut up about it now. So, right, let's do this, buddy. Let's do this draw, eh? So, because I'm rabbiting on endlessly about this thing. So yeah. Anyway, that's how it is. So, yeah. So it is bloody good, right? So yeah. So anyway, right. So let me just push the button here. I got a little bit prepared before I came tonight. So I've got the things loaded up a bit. So this one for the YouTube goes out to Aussie Alchemist. Aussie Alchemist. Congratulations, mate. You've been a watcher for ages. Right. Congratulations, mate. All yours. I'll contact you after the show. Now, this one, right, goes to on the Facebook. Let me just get it here. Facebook. Right. It's a bit more complicated on the Facebook simply because we've got Palmerville Gold coming in and we've got whatchamacallit, gold diggers coming as well. So that's sort of confusing the subject a little bit. And as we all know, I'm very, very easily to be confused, actually. Let me just load this up here and let me just see what's going on here. Right, so this goes out to Kathy McGregor. Congratulations, Kathy. I think, if I can look it up here, I think I can. I think Kathy's over in Palmerville Gold, so well done. So, well done, guys. Kathy and Aussie Alchemist, right? You've won the prizes. So, well, thanks very much for joining us tonight, guys. I love crushing some rock. I hope you enjoyed that. It was something a bit different. I don't often see a lot of this peacock ore, and when it came in and there was talk of it. So very, very little gold in it, but very, very cool to have a crack at anyway. That's what prospecting's all about. So you got to have a crack. So, yes. So, yeah. Righto, guys. Thanks very much. We'll see you next week. If you got any questions, send them to me. If you want them on the show, send them to me. Let me know, and we'll have another great night next week. So, but any questions? Don't forget Daylight Helpline, Bennett Gold Diggers, Palmerville Gold, email address, website, phones, whatever. It's all happening, and I'm just hanging on for the ride. See you next week, guys.
Thanks guys for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe, and call us on the Daylight Helpline. See you next time.